Right. So we are once again here on Overreaction Monday. We are back again recapping week 6 of the NFL season. Three guys here, only one have the spoils of a victory Monday. So, Mo, of course, Mo is the victorious one on this Monday. What's going on, Mo?
Yo, what's going on, fellas? Another overreaction Monday, another victory Monday. I enjoyed my victory nap, so now just get the
Yeah.
overreaction Monday is always fun,
Yeah.
bro. Take the analysis out of it, just get to really talk about the amazing Sunday we had.
It was quite a victory for your Dallas Cowboys, and it was so good that Jared had to kiss Steven. So
I'm not gonna talk
so,
about
I
we
had to do that to you, Mo. I had to do that to you, Mo.
hey, we,
Hey,
yeah,
you know,
we can't stand
I know, right?
That's how they do it down there in Arlington.
And I got my guy Rob. What's going on, Rob?
It's 6 weeks in through the season, and I'm here.
Hey man, January 9th can't come any sooner. So hey,
You're right about that.
Hey, we'll be ready. So fellas, what a great week in the NFL, man. We had some good games. Well, not really good, no competitive games per se. So Rob, I'm gonna go with you first. Who was your biggest winner in week 6?
My biggest winner has to be Lamar Jackson. He's making me look dumber and dumber each and every week. After I said he was going to be a bench player in about 3 to 5 years, he played phenomenal. He didn't make Justin Herbert look inadequate, but going into that game, it was a Lamar Jackson versus Justin Herbert. What is it going to be able to, what is that matchup going to look like? We thought it was going to be a strong competitive game. Turned out that was not the case, and Lamar Jackson is cementing himself in that MVP, at least in the top. I don't have him in leading the MVP race. Me personally, I still have Tom Brady. I think Kyler Murray is a not too distant second. He's definitely in the top 5. I'd have to between him and Josh Allen, because Josh Allen is playing lights out. You take out the first 2 weeks of the season, and he's playing the best football of anybody else. But again, we have to consider those 2 weeks against Pittsburgh, and I forgot who they played week 2. But that's my MVP race, and Lamar Jackson just playing lights out right now.
Yeah, and to your point too, obviously Lamar Jackson now he's got the most wins for was up until the age of 20, under 25, under 25, and that's still crazy to think that Lamar Jackson is under 25. That's just it's shocking to me. But I honestly, the elephant in the room, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, I mean, it's just, you think about the situation what he was going through, even when we did the show on Saturday. We were thinking Urban Meyer was going to be the next coach being fired in a week, potentially. So he saved his job for this week and this week only. That 20-game losing streak, that is, I mean, you snap that. It takes a lot of pressure from you because it was about to become, you were, about 6-7 weeks away from breaking Tampa Bay's record of most consecutive losses. And, the pressure's off him at this moment. But what they did was, obviously in type of fashion, they almost gave the game away. I mean, obviously in that particular moment. But great job for the Jacksonville Jaguars getting their first win, and the grind continues.
Yeah,
I don't know. Urban might went back to Ohio. He said, "Man, forget y'all." All right, I got you back in the queue, Mo. What's going on? So, what's your biggest win? And you can embellish.
Nah, I wouldn't say. I'm not gonna say my team was the biggest win. That was an ugly win. Any other circumstance, if we played a team close to us, that we wouldn't have won that game. As far as if we played a team that was equally or even a little bit less talented, but obviously we were just that much better than the Patriots that we were able to play that bad, give up a lot of big plays defensively. But as far as a biggest winner, man, it's tough. But it has. I got to give it to the team who has yet to even be considered the biggest loser, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. They remain undefeated. They didn't have their coach. They kind of had, Chandler Jones didn't play. Cliff Kingsbury and a couple other coaches weren't there due to COVID. So they kind of had an excuse to really basically be able to lose this game. And instead, they looked absolutely amazing. Kyler continued to make his case to be an MVP for this season. So, yeah, I got to go with the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, they remain undefeated. And like I said, they're playing what we all pretty much consider a quality team. And the simple fact that they were able to do that without their coach, basically everything would have been against them to lose that game, and it would have been accepted. It would have been okay. I don't think we'd have looked at Arizona any differently. But for them to come and look as great as they did while doing it, I definitely have to consider them the biggest winner of the week.
Yeah. And also to piggyback another winner potentially is whoever had a 7-team parlay for the 1:00 games. You were sitting pretty because everybody covered. Well, that 1 o'clock,
Bro.
that 1:00 parlay. Oh, you could have.
I'm still hurt.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
still hurt.
You did a 10-team.
So for the people who don't know, I did a 10-team parlay because I got greedy, and I'll admit it. I got greedy. I just kept the number going. I just kept seeing the number going up and up. So I'm gonna tell y'all who I had yesterday. Jacksonville plus 3.5, easy. Kansas City -7, they covered that. Cincy money line, good. Rams -9.5 was the only one that I was legitimately scared about.
Yeah, because that's
with a blanket. Arizona +3. That was the way y'all talked about Cleveland on See You Sunday. I didn't know whether to be scared because it was shocking just the fact that Arizona was an underdog. I get it. They were playing on the road. I get it. No head coach. Still a good team going up against the Browns. Arizona +3, good. Dallas money line, good. Seattle +5, good. Las Vegas +3.5, I was good. And then tonight I have Buffalo -5.5. The one game that messed me up, Carolina +1. Because the Carolina Panthers wide receivers decided they didn't want to catch a damn football yesterday. At least 7 drops. And I'm talking legitimate drops. Ball in the chest, 2 hands on it, already turning upfield to run before you even have the ball in your hands. I had a chance to turn $20 into over 8,000. And that one ruined it.
Dang. But yeah, the parlays can be that way. But yeah,
that hurt.
Yikes. So shout out to Kenneth. Can't wait for the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. All right, Kenneth.
He's doing it. That's why y'all don't like the Cowboys, because we can't take it week to week. They got to do that. That's Michael Irvin did it today. And I'm like, that's why everybody hate the Cowboys. You can't just take your victory, celebrate it, and look on the next week. We got to start these Super Bowl. Nah, stop doing that. Take it week by week. Stop doing that.
Y'all been doing that since 1996. Y'all
exactly. Stop doing that.
Hey, haven't they learned their lesson already? But hey, shout out to Kenneth. So, biggest loser this week in the NFL. I'm gonna go with you first, Mo. What you got?
Y'all know. There's a couple big losers this week.
Yeah.
I think I might have a 2-time loser. I think it might be back-to-back. A back-to-back loser. Baker Mayfield. Once again, can't win the big game. Can't get the job done against another young quarterback who, when we talk about the future, we talk about how much he's going to get paid. Back-to-back, he's lost the guys he's about to compete against for the next 10 to 15 years. Granted, you could give him the benefit of the doubt that the only way he'll really compete and see Kyler Murray is if they end up matching up in the Super Bowl. But Baker Mayfield lost. He played bad. Oh, wow.
He's a winner.
Wow. He's a winner, but yeah, that was, I ain't gonna lie, losing that part. That's like if you had the toughest loser of the week, like that's the toughest L taken is because of the Panthers. But back to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, and he rightfully is the biggest loser. He played bad. What do you have? 3 turnovers. Cleveland did not look like they are 3-3 now. I said prior to this game, I said all the pressure was on Cleveland. They could leave this week being 3-3, looking like a mediocre team with a mediocre record. The Ravens are running the AFC North right now. Won yet another game in dominant fashion. So shout out to the Ravens. They're one of the bigger winners too in Lamar Jackson. But you look at who you're competing with. Steelers, they have the same record as the Pittsburgh Steelers. And look at the light we look at Pittsburgh. And then look how we were looking at Cleveland prior to yesterday's games being played. Like, we felt like Big Ben needs to retire. Pittsburgh's a bad team. And then Cleveland, like, they're they could compete in the AFC. You got, like, going into the season, you had the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Browns. Those were, like, the three consensus teams that everybody could see reaching the Super Bowl. Chiefs fell off a little bit. We don't know what they'll be. The Bills are the favorite right now coming out of the AFC, and then he'll go to Cleveland Browns. Had an opportunity to be 4-2, shake back from that loss. And what does Baker Mayfield do? What Baker Mayfield does best. Show us that yet once again he will never be a top 15 quarterback in this lifetime or the next in the NFL. So Baker Mayfield has to be the biggest loser. There were some losers though, but he has to be. If I have to pick one, I'm picking Baker Mayfield. Especially, I'm a double down. He's a back-to-back biggest loser coming from All Up in Flames. Y'all just remember that.
Yeah, my biggest loser's got to be just the 1 o'clock games in itself. Like, everybody got crushed. Like, I mean, it was so many blowouts. I think it was 6 of them that at least by 10 more points. And obviously, we were one of the casualties, which I'll and I think that's a perfect segue to Rob's biggest loser.
So I got 2 biggest losers. One of them, my wife already called one of them out. One of them is me. Because like I just explained, had that 10-team parlay, could have turned $20 into $8,000 and didn't. But between Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson, I'm looking worse and worse every week. I was so high on Baker Mayfield when he came out of Oklahoma. I didn't think they should have taken him first overall. I still thought they should have taken. I still to this day think they should have taken Saquon first and kept Tyrod Taylor. But he's looking worse and worse. Lamar Jackson's looking better and better each week, especially after yesterday. As far as him being a bust in the next 3 to 5 years, I still think it's a possibility. But again, it's looking worse and worse every single week. Now, the Washington football team, the biggest joke of an organization in the league. We used to talk about the Browns being a terribly run organization. We would talk about the Jets about being a terribly run organization. There is no lower that you can get other than the Washington football team right now. Not only does your football team suck, mainly because you were supposed to have an elite defense, a top-tier defense. You had arguably the best front 4 going into this season. You have the worst defense in the league. Not only do you have a head coach who says that defense is fine, nothing worth changing right now. He likes what they're doing. If he likes what they're doing right now, I'm convinced he was never on that 85 Bears team. It was somebody else. He doesn't watch football. Because I don't get what there is to like about that defense. You have missed on a quarterback for the last nearly 30 years. All the way from Brad Johnson. Let's take it back even further. Heath Schuler, garbage. Brad Johnson, whatever. Then you went and got Mark Brunell for a little bit. Donovan McNabb from a division rival ended up being trash. RG3 had one good season. You ran him into the ground. You managed him terribly. Kirk Cousins, I don't want to say he deserved the money he was asking for, but at that point, there was nothing. There was no other quarterback out there. I didn't see us trading for a quarterback, let alone Alex Smith, which we ended up doing. That was unfortunate. Dwayne Haskins, complete bust. Ryan Fitzpatrick gets hurt 15 minutes into the first game. And Taylor Heineke is Taylor Heineke. He's not it. I don't care what anybody says. He's not it. That's just on the field.
Oh, boy.
You have 18 months of sexual assault allegations. You have a former president of the team who forces women to take topless pictures that he emails out to other people, i.e. John Gruden. And through all of this, you as the owner are still able to get out of that scot-free because all the focus is on John Gruden. Then you decide, you know what? This looks really bad. People probably looking at it as really bad. Let's go ahead and bastardize the retirement of Sean Taylor's jersey number. Let's do it on a 3-day notice. Let's do what's the word for it? They renamed a street in Sean Taylor's honor in front of porta potties. You literally had 4 porta potties behind the family. I haven't seen the ceremony yet because I really don't want to at this point. But from what I've heard, the ceremony completely underwhelming, was clearly rushed. It was clear. You can tell it was done on 3 to 4 days notice. There was no speeches. The owner wore a sweater to the meeting with the family, which I personally, if one of my family members' numbers was being retired and the owner wore a sweater, I personally wouldn't care, but I could see why people would. And the spot on the sideline, which I assumed was the Washington sideline, you have painted the number 21 on the field. You had it chained off, which I thought was a clear sign that, hey, nobody steps on this. This is Sean Taylor's number. Do not step on it. Then a TikTok starts going viral of Jackson Mahomes, who, first of all, is a terrible person, first and foremost. His TikTok dances suck. He has no rhythm. I don't like Mo. He gives y'all Laskins a bad name. You cannot dance to save his life. His TikTok dances suck, but that's not even the point. I'm not even saying that out of hatred, out of spite. He just has no rhythm. His dances suck. Charlie D'Amelio has better dances better than he does. But you go and do a TikTok dance on this man's number. World goes in on him, myself included. And then pictures start coming up. The whole Mahomes family, that's where they were standing, inside the chained area on the 21. Did they do it out of sign of disrespect? No, probably not. I believe 100% that this joke of an organization didn't have the thought, the intuition to say, hey, maybe let's not let people stand on this sacred number. Instead, you put a whole family on there. Step on it. The incompetence of this organization is embarrassing. It is sad. I honestly wish Jason Wright would retire, or I'm sorry, resign. And not because, and earlier in the week when we found out about this, I put it on him. I even said he should be ashamed of himself. But after hearing stories and hearing from other people's perspective, I believe 100% that he's just the fall guy for this. Dan Snyder basically told him, hey, this is what we're doing. And I'm sure Jason Wright did give pushback. I'm sure he did say, hey, you know what? I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think we should do that on short notice. It's kind of obvious why we're doing it. And Dan Snyder basically said, I write your check. I pay you. You're going to do what I say. And of course, Jason Wright had to put out the statement saying, you know, we've had this plan for a while. I know it seems unplanned, but we wanted it to be a surprise. And that's on us. We fell short, mainly him. He fell on his sword. He did what he was supposed to do as the team president. And on Thursday, when I heard about this, I said he should be ashamed of himself for letting this happen. But I do think he did try to fight it. I wish he would resign so he doesn't have to work for somebody like Dan Snyder anymore. Because Jason Wright as a person deserves so much better than this, than to be a fall guy for using Sean Taylor's legacy and what happened to him, not only on the field, what he was as a player, but how how he died as a damn PR stunt.
Yeah, and honestly, you don't want to watch it because it's one of the things where it, it's gonna make you mad. I mean, I'm serious. Like you said, and and to your point, Washington, I think wasn't they was ill prepared for this for this to happen. So they probably already had the plan in place for the Mahomes family to be in that section already. And I think they put that there. So I like you said, it's still disrespectful. I don't put necessarily 100% of the onus on Jackson Mahomes, but that was extremely disrespectful. But like you said, they didn't get to speak. I would have loved to hear, his daughter speak, because you think about it, she was a baby when when her father died. So, just imagine. I wanted to see how she, her to speak and like teammates to speak, like you said, and that lets you know this wasn't. It's like, and even I can go past being playing because you can plan stuff days in advance and be fine. Like you can make a better plan than what you did. Like it doesn't take too much time to make a thought out and methodical plan. Like you said, I do wish as a fan that the fans would have been having an opportunity to at least know months in advance of when this is going to happen. But like you said, the organization, like you said, it's not even about the wins and losses anymore. It's about everything that's on behind the scenes, and that's why no one's going to take this investigation serious. Your boy's supposed to be suspended. Why he there? Like he's suspended. Remember he's suspended. He's supposed to be to March the 1st to the league New Year, whatever. So his wife is running the organization, but he there. Just like we talked about on Watch the Football guys. If you get suspended from work, I don't expect you to be at a work meeting. You're suspended. Like you're not even supposed to be there. So it's like it's so yeah, it's just too much stuff going on, and that's one thing too. You look at these organizations going forward, like why would a free agent come here? Because why would a free agent come here? Why would somebody want to be a part of this organization when you treated somebody who because you think about it, like we talked about it, when you retire somebody's jersey, that's a third retired jersey retirement we've had in almost 90 years. Sean Taylor's situation is he died. Most people who generally even think about now, like Bobby Mitchell jersey just got retired in September. But those really two cases that you think to yourself like, okay, they passed away and this. But like if you like how you treat somebody who's living, like who like a living legend, like how would you treat them when it's time for their jersey retirement? And that's why they should have been able to speak. Like you said, I would have love to hear bring the 017 back together. And that was my biggest thing. I wish they would have brought everybody back, like Joe Gibbs, Greg Williams,
Clinton Portis.
Yeah.
Well, he was there.
He was there with the family.
He should have spoke.
He should have said something.
When I seen all that, like you talk about, bro, Clinton Portis was like his brother. Like they were. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like when Clinton Portis had got on, Shannon Sharp's show and told him, like, bro, it was not this football was not the same and never will be the same when Sean Taylor died. Like I lost my love for football, and that's why people say, they say whatever they say about Clinton Portis' career, but there was it changed. Like something about Clinton Portis changed after that, and that's what it was. Like he felt like he lost his brother. He felt like he lost his drive to go. Like he should have spoke. Like you said, like you want to hear from his daughter, like you know what I'm saying, like, and that's a moment, especially because he passed. Like, bro, that you're supposed to be able to come on here, speak about that, and be like, man, that was like, like y'all should be talking about y'all teared up type stuff, like that should be a possibility. Like, bro, that got to my heart. Like we're grown men, but like I love this team, and because we know Sean Taylor was kind of, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but like he was one of the biggest what ifs in sports history, only because what he was prior to him dying, like he was on the path to possibly be the greatest safety of all time. He was going to be one of, for sure. He was on the path. He might have been like, he was probably like, even guys like Ed Reed and stuff tell you like he was better than me. He was going to be better than me. Like, they say it. So it's like for that to happen the way it did, like, and like you said, like it just seems so like, and we know it was rushed, but like the performance of it, like proved it. Because they're like, no, we've had this plan, but like all of a sudden, like in 3 days notice, like, and then fans, like you said, I don't think it was fair to fans to have to try and scrounge up change. Like, because here's the thing, that could have been a special time for certain fans. Like, man, I ain't been to a game in a while, but I want to be there for this. Like,
Right.
I remember there are guys my age. Like, man, I remember Sean Taylor was. I used to like Washington football. I used to like watching them play because Sean Taylor was on the team. Like, that's a real thing. And now we're older. Like, in 3 days, you're supposed to, like, if you don't have a ticket, you know how tough it is. And they probably jack the prices up real quick because it's a special occasion. But you know how tough it is to just make a plan to show up to a game 3 days in advance. Like, typically, it's, you know, you're going to a game for a month from now.
Right.
You know, Rob would know he's about to go to a Seahawks game and he has it marked on his calendar when he's going. So, like, to just, you know, so I don't know. I feel like they didn't appeal to the fans or whatever. And like you said, like, you could talk about the on the field stuff, but it's like anybody can bounce back and be good next year or whatever. Like, it's on the field stuff can be a simple fix, especially with the talent that they have. But it's to be in that turmoil off the field. Like, bro, you got stars, Chase Young, you know what I'm saying? You got Montez. Like, they might not want to stay. Like, I don't bring people to the organization, but you might not be able to retain all stars that you're building in the organization. And because of the off the field stuff, on the field, you can figure it out. You fire a coach, you bring a new coach in, whatever. Like, you figure the GM's gone, you start bringing in people who know what they're doing. Like, that's very simple. It's called rebuilding, we know, but you could do that. Like, Ron Rivera could be gone after this year and hey, we go get a new coach on to the next rebuild. But that off the field, like, that stains an organization almost for forever. Like, you're going to remember this 20 years from now, 30 years from, like, everybody's going to remember. And you know how big it is because both of y'all as fans are really, because of the off the field stuff, could, like, you see a world where it's possible that you decide to jump ship and you love other teams, you got love for other players, but because you just don't want your name attached to this organization. So that's just how bad it is. It's all bad over there. And it's like, forget the on the field stuff. Like, you can turn it around. Nobody really cares about the field stuff. Like, whether it'd probably be even worse if they were a good team this year. Like, you almost probably want your team to be really good while going through this, because it probably would be even worse. It brings even more attention because it's one of the top teams in the NFL. Like, so I don't know. It's just bad.
Yeah. But when you sit down in theory, that's what I think. If we would have been winning, that cures everything. Like, winning is the ultimate deodorant. It cleans up all your funk. But now when you're just as bad as we are, and look at just what it is, you know, just from, you know, how we've been playing, like, it just compounds the issues. But yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, and it's not like I was telling when I was on Stu's show, where it's just like, I mean, you literally at this man's deathbed, and then this is how you do this, man. Like, it's just, that's why that's what don't sit right with me. Like, honestly, because I thought, you know, what he did in the time of when Sean passed, he did, you know, he was really, you know, gracious owner, doing what he had to do, you know, flying Clinton and Santana to Miami, you know, to be by his side. And he did a lot of stuff in that time of, you know, when Sean passing. Then now you're thinking, fast forward almost 14 years, you know, after the tragedy, this comes up, and it's just, you know, yeah, it's crazy. It's like, it's one of those things where it's just like, they know they knew what they were doing. They knew, you know, they knew what they was doing, and they knew, like, you know, that it was gonna, it's, you know, you were gonna be torn in multiple ways, and how if you have a certain stance on it, it's gonna make you look a little different. You know, it's gonna, you know, if you have a different unpopular stance, it's almost like you're taking away from the event. But, you know, but yeah, it's, I mean, and then even
back to bro, it's like, this is one of those conversations that you could go all day, and it's for the simple fact, like, it's just for the simple fact, bro, that this is just bad. Like, if it was Dallas, I'd be in the same boat, and, like, winning or losing, like, bro, this comes out, and you come to find out, like, Jerry Jones is the worst human being ever, and, like, he's not, like, you just kind of you developing, like, man, like, you just don't want to attach because you don't think that way. So that's what makes it tough, is like, but also so tough, a team that you love so much, like, your whole life, like, you've been a Washington fan your whole life, like, you from the area, like, you go to Atlanta to go watch your team play, like, you love the team, and then so to see that and to just be like, you know it's bad when you're really contemplating continuing loving this organization. Like, you know it's bad. 20-something, 30-something years, like that's how bad it is. And it's like they'll sweep it. I'm not saying that, but it'll get swept under the rug. It'll try and get forgot about. What's out is nothing we could do about that, but it'll stop getting talked about eventually. I mean, I still think a lot of things around just the whole situation, period. Like, it's crazy that Gruden gets fired when the investigation was a whole nother organization, a whole nother team. Gruden gets fired. I don't believe that they say the only bad emails. I mean, 600-something thousand emails. Like, let's just be honest, bro. Especially those with interactions between rich white men. Like, I'm not, but interaction between 600,000 email interactions between rich white men. You're telling me John Gruden is the only person to have really said something, and then Adam Schefter sending the story. You're telling me that's the biggest you found in 600,000 emails when we know, like, bro, I could tell you if you found 600,000 emails between the higher ups in the Navy, bro, I guarantee you a bunch of people would go down. Because that's just what it is. Like, and you're telling me John Gruden the only one to say something. First off, he sent these emails to people. So you telling me, like, if you're wrong, if you received the email and hey, bro, don't talk like that, bro. Don't send that to me. You tripping? Even if you agreed, like you just wrong. Like, it didn't come out, but you agreed. So I don't know. The whole you know what they're gonna do? They're pushing it to the offseason. That's what's happening. The whole, we didn't find any other emails. Then the lawyers and stuff is going to go through the courts. They're going to finally be able to get their hands on the emails. But guess what? That takes months. And by then, it won't tarnish the NFL. And then you'll start seeing guys' names get tarnished later on. That's how it's going to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just one thing. I smile, but internally, it's really upsetting. And like, it's just so much stuff that's going on between the season's bad, the investigation, and then the name change. And I mean, it's like what them Jones be saying. This too much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to that point.
You know what's funny? I listened to the podcast that Jeff sent us today. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it yet. But Monty Jones was talking about the whole. All I listened was the Sean Taylor part, and he said it makes him think about the time that Bruce Allen said that our culture was damn good, and he probably truly meant it. He said when he said it, he said, "Yeah, our culture is good because if you see what these other people are sending, what these other people are talking about, like you won't be that upset about what's going on here." Yeah, but to most points. How many emails was it? 650,000 emails or 65,000? That many emails. Law of averages. You're gonna find more than just 3 emails from one person.
Oh yeah,
you feel me? Like, come on,
that happened. And
that's crazy. It's gonna get pushed to the offseason. I'm telling you, it's gonna get brought back up in the offseason because now the people want to see the emails. Like, you could tell us we did our investigation or whatever, but it's gonna go through the courts. Eventually, either A, ultimately decides that nobody else is going to get their hands on them, or B, like, it goes through the courts and they decide that they can get their hands on them. But guess what? The wonderful Super Bowl that we all love to watch will have been played already. We'll be on into the offseason, and that'll be the whole summertime conversation. Like, that's what it'll turn out to be because it won't tarnish. The NFL does not want to tarnish its name. They don't want to tarnish you. Just imagine if 10 GMs, 5 owners were included in this comment. Like, that distracts the whole, like, you almost it could get so bad. Like, maybe they aren't lying, but it could get so bad if it's as bad as we would project or assume it would be. You could not play. Like, you could. Hey, we got to put a pause on the season based on this stuff. Like,
right.
But one thing Roger Goodell is very good at, ever since he's taken over as commissioner, he's really good at making the NFL a year-round thing. Yeah. From the time the Super Bowl's over to the marketing for the combine, the draft, free agency, all that stuff. He has done really good about making the NFL relevant all year round. And I wouldn't be surprised if I'm sure this isn't his ideal way of keeping the league relevant into the offseason, but hey, if people are still talking about the NFL during the offseason, like why not? No such thing as a bad publicity, right?
But I think they just don't want to do that right now. Really a great NFL season. Like, if you really think about it, like, there's some intriguing games. There's some teams who are popping. Like, this is coming, like, even in college football, like, football has been great this year. So what you don't want is some major investigation where GMs might have to take a step from the team. Other coaches could end up like, yeah, we won't fire you right now. They're pressured to step away. Like that could change. Like if it was to be that big and a lot more people you think are involved, then that changes the whole outcome of the season. And I think that's what you don't want to do, or that's what that's what Roger Goodell does not want to do. Is like, let's put it in perspective. I don't think they are these type of people, but bro, just imagine if like, Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, Harbaugh, they had some emails and like now they got to quit. Like now the Ravens, their season essentially is done. The Chiefs, their season is over with. Like it's that time. And I don't think those are coaches, but I'm saying like if it got to that, like it changes the outcome of the season. That's why I say they'll push it to the offseason. What came out. They allowed what needed to come out. That somebody had to take a fall. They knew there was an investment. It started to be over. People started inquiring. All right, if we get rid of Gruden and it was a former guy who's no longer with the NFL, then we're good and we could push this to the offseason. Somebody pays some consequences. Boom. I'm telling you, I really think it'll be an offseason thing. It's going to go play its process out through the courts for now, and then once those emails really get leaked and those people get their hands on them, they really can cipher through them. And I guess you would say the wrong people, the NFL people that you don't want to get their hands on them end up. Then it becomes, and like Rob said, then it becomes a conversation. Like I said, that's a whole summertime thing. That could damage and change a lot of organizations. You never know.
Yeah, crazy stuff. But yeah, so fellas, the biggest overreaction this week. I'm gonna go with you first, Mo. Your biggest overreaction.
Man, there's so many ways I could go with this as far as biggest overreaction, but I'm gonna stay the quarterback route, and I'm gonna say the Browns, and I'm gonna say the Dolphins figured out, and I'm gonna say the Giants. They all figured out that they don't have their quarterback of the future after this week. Tua didn't play bad per se, and I know you'd be like, well, why would you kill Tua? I'm not killing Tua. I give him the benefit of the doubt. There's no Devontae Parker. Preston Williams didn't play. And even though Will Fuller, but the tight end played amazing. Gesicki had a huge game. Jalen Waddle, he had a good game. He had 2 touchdowns. So fantasy-wise, people are in love with Jalen Waddle this week. But the usage of Jalen Waddle and knowing that Devontae Parker, like the offense is so simple and so minimal. And then they lost to the Jaguars. Like everything going on in Jacksonville. And like you go to London, you bring Tua back. Like maybe Tua shouldn't have played, but I think like he's not the quarterback of the future. You have a weapon like Jalen Waddle who can stretch the field, and he's catching dink and dunk screen passes and having to take them to the house. Like to me, with how if you watch how the Dolphins are using Jalen Waddle, it's because they don't have a quarterback that can get him the ball the way he needs to. He is like a Tyree. He is like a Henry Ruggs. He's a possession receiver. He can run routes, but he's also a guy who stretches the field and takes the top off of a defense. And with him having yet to be used like that, this is what he had 10 catches for 70 yards. He had 12 catches the other day, a couple weeks ago for like 6 yards. That's terrible usage for a guy who runs a 4.25 in the 40 and is a speedster. So I think that obviously the Giants, I really feel like, Daniel Jones, he got cleared to play coming off concussion, but he started off high. He's up and down. And I think the Giants will look to from Daniel Jones and even the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, I had him as the biggest loser. I'm not saying the Cleveland Browns are going to move off Baker because there may not be a better option per se. Unless now if they tank, you know what I'm saying, or their season goals and they're in that middle of the first round, they might be okay because I think they'll be able to get them a Matt Corral or whatever. I don't think Spencer Rattler, but Cleveland can't have the roster they have be Super Bowl bound, a Super Bowl roster, probably the most talented roster, and be inadequate at quarterback. Like Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year. Like their defense is a top-notch defense. Like their run game is probably the best run game in the league now. And I said this a couple weeks ago on my show with Jeff, and I said losing Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt would do more damage to that offense than losing Baker Mayfield. I haven't tested the theory yet per se because Baker Mayfield hasn't gone down. But I was right on the fact, no Nick Chubb. Look how bad that offense looked. They stunk. When you didn't have Nick Chubb being able to bring the ball, they stink. Like, so Baker is what am I trying to say? I was trying to blank, but Baker he's a system quarterback. And you can say, like, he's not going to be the ultimate system quarterback. If you think Tom Brady is a system quarterback, which I think that was said about him prior, but I think he's proved it. But even if you thought he was a system quarterback, like, he was the ultimate system quarterback. So Baker won't be that. I don't know if the Browns can win. Can they get there? Yeah, I'm not going to say no, but will you get the best out of them? No, I don't think so. Like, there's a reason him and Odell, like, they're not. Odell was successful with Eli Manning at the end of Eli Manning's career. Come on now. Like, but a young stud, number one pick, can't get him the ball. Like, come on, bro. Something's got to give. And so I think a few teams found out that their future is not bright at the quarterback position.
Yeah. RC, what you got?
I'm not going to say it's an overreaction. It's just something that I don't like to admit, and I've never actually admitted it through, because this is the first season I can actually say it and it be a true statement. Dallas is a legit Super Bowl contender. They have looked like ever since even week one, they played great. They went toe to toe with Tom Brady and the Bucks. But ever since that loss, they've been running on all cylinders. Yesterday was a quote unquote bad game. Still came away with the win. And the thing is, in a now 17 game season in the NFL, you know, as we all know now, every NFL team is good. So just because you play one bad game, or you have one game where you don't rout a team, doesn't mean that you're no longer good. Dak did what he had to do, even while sustaining, I think it was a calf injury. He was in that walking boot after the game. They've looked like the most complete team this season so far.
Yeah.
And yes, Kenneth, I am very broken saying that.
Yeah. And it's two things. Obviously, like the Browns, I think at 3-3, and now the injury bug has hit them, and they got a Thursday night game. So I'm like, they're gonna fall to 3-4 this week. You can't lose Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Like, they lost both of them. JOK is injured. Baker Mayfield is in a sling. Like, it's a lot. Like, Odell got a shoulder injury. Like, dude, they got injuries all across the board in all the wrong places.
Do not let Cleveland. Do not let Case Keenum play this game on Thursday and win. Don't let it happen. People do not let Case Keenum. I'm telling you, Sunday is going to be a heck of a day. And I will do an immediate reaction show after that. If Case Keenum plays and the Browns win on Thursday, I promise. And Case Keenum looks pretty good, fairly good, or at least as good as Baker does. I'm going crazy. I promise.
But that's how, you know, Baker came in on a Thursday night. He might end his Browns career on a Thursday night. But in all seriousness, yeah, I think they got a rough stretch going down. I'm like, this is not the same team that I thought was going to, you know, contend for the AFC. I think the better team in Ohio might be the Cincinnati Bengals, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of the Cincinnati Bengals, the team that they beat on yesterday, the Detroit Lions, I'm sorry, this is going to be a historically bad team. This team is going to be 0-17. I don't see no wins in sight for this team. This is going to be an historic team. Like, they're going to be 0-17. And Dan Campbell, he ain't going to have no teeth. He been biting kneecaps for the last 6 weeks. He ain't going to have no teeth by Halloween.
But I think he'll still keep his job, though. Like, something about Dan Campbell.
I mean, potentially.
He's not a bad coach. Like, look at, like, and I agree with you. I don't know if they've had opportunities to win a game. If they were going to win a game, I think they win one by now. So I do agree with you. But I don't think you don't look at Detroit and say coaching is the problem, though. Like, that's what's crazy. We look at the Jaguars. They finally got a win. We put all the pressure on our mind. We like, man, look, they got a decent team. Like, they got some talent. You know, they got some players who were playmakers elsewhere where you like, you win me a game. Like, if you a decent coach, you win. But you look at Dan Campbell and you like, bro, whoever took that position was walking in. Jared Goff's the best player on that team, or maybe TJ Hawkinson at this point. It was he might be, but those are the best players on the team. You knew, like, you was like, man, this is the worst opportunity because you don't have a lot of draft capital. Like, Detroit didn't have a lot. You knew that. So it's just one of those, like, I think it'd be wrong if they did go 0-17 and Dan Campbell lost his job because I don't think he's a bad coach. But like, you find me a coach who's really, I mean, I guess you could say a lot of coaches would have won that Baltimore game, but that's about it. Like, other than that, like, they've had bad breaks in. So I think he should, it's tough.
I know, and I feel for Dan Campbell. Like you said, people always say it's a job, but still, there's some jobs, there's some good jobs and some bad jobs. This one is a bad job, and how the way Detroit is, you know what, you're right, Mo. It might be a situation where they'll fire Jim Caldwell that went 9-7, keep Matt Patricia for the for the longest, and then Campbell's 0-17 and mess around and get a second year.
Yeah, but he should,
Detroit for
like,
you.
he should because like there's no winning. Like there's no, like, it's amazing that they hung with Baltimore. Like, let's just the better Baltimore looks, the better that loss looks. Like, at the end of the day, it took Justin Tucker to show us he's the greatest kicker of all time already to basically, win that game. Like, it took a 68-yard, 68-66.
I know, man.
That's what it took. Like, that's the type of luck they had. So, and you just look at that team, you'd be like, man, the way they've competed in some of the games, hung with, the Packers through 2.5 quarters, like, man, this team ain't that bad. Like, you'd be like, man, the coaching be decent. Like, because they really have no talent nowhere. DeAndre Swift. I forgot, my bad.
Yeah.
But like, that's a terribly talented team, and I'm not responding.
Good.
I'm responding to that comment.
But yeah, and that's a thing where it's Detroit, bro. Like, I mean, like I said, man, look, Sam might get there. Hope my boy Sam, at least he got a franchise left tackle in Panay Sewell. So hopefully my boy Sam land there. But that's here not there.
Who?
Huh?
Who's he gonna throw? Quintez, a Wisconsin wide receiver? Like, no.
he'll have a better line in Detroit than he got in Carolina. So that would be a sizable upgrade for him point. At this point. So, fellas, let's put a bow on this week's Overreaction Monday. We'll go around the horn, social media, final thoughts, projects. Mo, what you got?
Yeah. As always, Couch, I love getting on here with you. It's Overreaction Monday. It's always take the analysis out of it. Let's take the analysis out and just talk football and what we saw on Sunday. But as for me, you can follow me at Upper Flames Pod on Twitter, Instagram, Mo_Cheese15 on Twitter and Instagram. You can catch me on Dash Radio and everybody. It's Off the Ball Network Mondays from 11 a.m. or 10 a.m. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have our shows, and then later that night you have bloopers. I just put out a new episode doing my NBA preview, so anybody who's kind of interested in some things that we predict to happen in the NBA prior to tomorrow night's tip-off, definitely go check that out. Gonna have some football content coming this week as well, and go check me out. Be on 3:30 Eastern on Go Long Live. So just definitely go check out all those projects. Make sure you go to offtheballnetwork.com for all your sports needs and entertainment.
Big time. Cruz, what you got, bro?
All right, y'all already know where you can find me. FNC Pod on Twitter, Football and Chill Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. I got Cruise Island on Wednesday. We're gonna be recapping Week 6, looking ahead to Week 7. Give you guys a couple games to watch, and might go over a 3 to 5 team parlay that I might do. I'm not going 10 games this time. Probably in about 2 hours, probably about 7 o'clock, I'm gonna be streaming over on Twitch. So if you're into video games, I'm gonna be playing a little bit of Splitgate and Warzone. So head over to twitch.tv/football and chill gaming. Catch me over there.
All right. Word. Yeah, man. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram under Couch Coach Live. Check me out. Actually, about 10 minutes, I'll be doing NBA Carousel, the second season of that. Running it back with the LA Clippers. So I do a little thing with the Clippers on that show. Also, Couch Coach Live tomorrow night. We're actually going to do our Eastern Conference preview on the opening day of the NBA. We got our guys, the Hoopers. They'll be coming on tomorrow, previewing the Eastern Conference. Also, Friday nights, me and Me and Rob. I try, yeah, right. I always get that pointed mess wrong. But yeah, so me and Rob, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, watch the Football Guys podcast. You know, but yeah, man, that's just about it. Also, see you Sundays, Saturdays, at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then Overreaction Monday on Mondays. So yeah, man, we got a full slate. We're always working here, and that huge shout out to everybody on Off the Ball Network, our fellow colleagues. They're doing out tremendous content, articles, YouTube. I mean, we just like what I forgot who said it, the best 4-letter word in sports. You know, so we here, gang gang.
Gang, gang.
And also check out the West Conference preview with our guy Cole from Nothing But Airtime podcast as well. So yeah, man, we great content coming from you guys. Everybody's doing their thing. Definitely, yeah. So with that being said, man, appreciate you fellas for coming on another Overreaction Monday, and we're gonna catch you guys next week.